risking up to the ups and downs of those who give up their job to become their own boss. Stay tuned.
This week I'm in the Northwest. This is mum of two, Karen Gilmore, and her partner, solicitor Marcus Johnson. Their dream is to upsize from a butty van to owning a family-friendly Italian restaurant in Widnes, 15 miles from Liverpool. To do it, they're remortgaging their house to the hilt and taking out a massive bank loan. It's a bold gamble, but that's where I come in. 20 years ago, I started my first business and went on to build a multi-million-pound empire. I'll be on hand to help Karen and Marcus during their first year in business.
We are in a mess and we're just in a bigger, deeper hole as the days go by.
It's a fantastic challenge, chasing a dream and wanting to be your own boss. Well, this week, our two entrepreneurs are gambling everything on breaking into the multi-billion-pound restaurant business. But of the 5,000 restaurants that start in this country every year, only half stay afloat. Karen and Marcus have never run a business before, and their startup budget is tiny. Added to that, it's a new partnership. They met just 3 years ago in a bar in Widnes.
My friend said to me, "Oh, there's that Marcus over there." Well, I was over like a shot, and she said to me, "Good God, there was steam coming off of your heels."
Between them, they have 6 children. With so many kids to support, money is tighter than tight.
I feel a bit guilty about it, that we're not providing really what the kids are asking for and what they want.
So they've cooked up a plan to get beyond just scraping by and reckon they've hit upon the perfect money-making idea. Widnes is a restaurant-free zone. Apart from a couple of takeaways, there's nowhere for families to eat out and relax. Karen and Marcus are mad about all things Italian, so they're putting their money where their mouths are and want to open an Italian restaurant called Aroma. The slight problem, however, is that while Karen's no stranger to catering, her only experience to date is frying sausages with her sister in a butty van.
Can you put an egg on, please, Sam? Yeah.
Thank you much, lady. See you.
See you, Trevor.
Well, today's her last day. Time to swap the penny and bangers for an entrepreneur's hat in pursuit of more sophisticated and lucrative culinary offerings.
Does that have no onions as well?
All the catering experiences here. She used to cook on the griddle. So luckily she won't be cooking in the restaurant because she doesn't cook at home either. She's going to have her work cut out. It's going to be hard work, but if anyone can do it, I think Karen can.
We've no idea what goes into running a restaurant. Got no idea how any of that works, and yet we need to know quick.
Marcus will work a double shift as a solicitor by day and restaurateur by night, while Karen will manage the day-to-day gourmet operation.
I'll be coming down in the evening to taste the food and the drink.
No, you won't. You'll be in the kitchen working.
So how clear are they about their idea? A truly good one can be summed up in 15 seconds. Right, guys, give me your business pitch. What's Aroma all about?
The idea of Aroma is to produce an Italian restaurant which will provide authentic, traditional Italian home-cooked food at reasonable prices with good, friendly, attentive service.
It's confident and straightforward, but I'm not sure the name they've gone for does what it says on the tin. Why are you calling it Aroma, though? Because to me, that doesn't particularly say Italian restaurant.
We've just always had that name, haven't we? It's just come from a restaurant we went to when we were over in Spain once, and it was an Italian restaurant, pizza restaurant, and it was called Aroma.
I think it's a nice evocative word, and there's nothing wrong with the word aroma, but to me it doesn't say Italian. Maybe we're thinking about that.
Yeah, I would guess so.
Marcus and Karen are embarking on a massive life change. They're risking their home, their family, and their relationship on a business they know nothing about. But I am pleased that they seem to be focused on their aims for the restaurant, and their relationship seems pretty strong. I think that's going to be important in the months to come. It's August. Karen and Marcus have found what they believe are the ideal premises for the business. A derelict shop right in the centre of Widnes. At 86 grand for the freehold, it's a fair deal. To set up, they're begging, borrowing and flogging everything they can.
We just keep selling things as different expenses crop up. The kids will come over from school one day and say, "Well, where's the car gone?" We've sold it.
As well as £5,000 from selling Karen's car, they're putting in savings of £20,000, a bank loan of 30 grand, and £80,000 from remortgaging their home. That brings their total budget to £135,000. A key factor in the success of any retail business is its location. But when I check out where Aroma's going to set up, it doesn't exactly inspire me with great confidence. This Widnes Street is just so quiet. There's hardly anyone around. You've got the busy part of Widnes up there, the pedestrianised shopping centre, and you've got Asda down there, which is also packed, full of shoppers. But this bit in the middle is absolutely dead. There's just nobody around. There's no one walking past. You're surrounded by discount stores and empty shop units. If it was me, I'd have real serious reservations about this location. But Karen and Marcus have a great advantage. It's their hometown, so they might be able to use their friends and family to get the word out about the premises. And there's something else I think they can do. Just one thing I noticed just standing here on this initial look at your premises is that you've still got the old sign up. I think you're missing a trick there. I reckon you should get a banner up straight away saying that Aroma is opening in X number of weeks or a date or something like that, because it's free advertising.
Yeah.
And people walking past are obviously interested. This is part of their locality. Yeah. And if it's changing, you might as well harness that interest and get people talking about it already.
Right.
The builders have already been hired. Oh dear. The trouble is, there's a shocking amount to do. How long before you open?
6 weeks maximum.
You're kidding. This is a shell at the moment, isn't it? With no floor, no proper ceilings, no staircase, no services, no electrics, no plumbing.
It can be done. Pretty sure it can be done.
Now, I would say, in my experience, that's not enough time to do this project. I think what you need to do is just work out realistically whether you will be open then. And if you're not, just be honest with yourselves and say it's going to take 2 weeks longer.
I mean, the thing is, if it takes 2 more weeks, then it takes 2 more weeks, but...
Yeah, but you need to decide that now. Don't leave it until opening day and then say it's going to take 2 weeks. Decide now we're going to allow ourselves 2 more weeks and then get it all perfect rather than rushing and opening and the whole thing's a disaster. That's the thing about restaurants. People don't really give you a second chance.
Yeah.
People judge it straight away when they go in.
Definitely.
They've allocated just £51,000 for this huge building project, so they must get up and running fast in order to start paying back all their loans. But they can't open a half-finished restaurant. Well, it gets even worse around here. I can see the potential here, but I've done enough building projects to know what's possible. And my worry is that this sort of renovation has a habit of uncovering some nasty surprises. What's in here?
From here will be the kitchen area.
They're determined to open in 6 weeks on the 31st of October. It's just about doable, but only if everything goes according to plan. It's September, 2 weeks into the renovation, and Karen and Marcus are still determined to be open in just 6 weeks, despite my reservations. But I'm pleased to see they've taken on board my thoughts about the restaurant's all-important name. I think Aroma Italia, I think it sums up much more effectively than just Aroma by itself.
Well, we thought of what you said last time. We got the best of both worlds, really. Kept
Good.
Aroma and then
Good.
just added the Italian bit in.
What really strikes you when you look at it? What's the first thing you read up there?
Probably the coming soon bit, I don't know.
No, I would say it's the first choice Christmas hampers. I think you need to just get a bit
Paint
of
it
white
out or
emulsion, paint it
something.
out, just get rid of it, you know. And the other thing, which I think is slightly funny about your sign, is the question mark after coming soon.
Apparently it's not a question mark, it's an exclamation mark.
No, that is a question mark. It makes it seem a bit ambiguous. You know, they made a mistake, get them to sort it out.
Okay.
Inside, it's a frenzy of activity, knocking down walls, digging up floors and completely transforming the derelict old off-licence into a smart 2-storey restaurant. Local builder Dave Anderson has just £51,000 to get it sorted. Add to that the cost of the deposit, 26 grand, and the kitchen, 30,000, and there's just 28 grand left out of the budget for everything else. Apart from the renovation, my other big concern is Karen's lack of experience. The nearest she's been to restaurant work is putting burgers together in her sister's butty van. She's never even worked in a restaurant before. Running restaurants is probably one of the most difficult businesses you can set up. I think there's a fundamental problem with the way you plan to do it, and that's the fact that you haven't got any experience.
Yeah.
No, I really do think you're going to be a fish out of water and that you'll flounder because It's an incredibly skillful thing to do. And what I'd like to suggest is that I'll help you get work experience in a restaurant similar to yours, so you can actually find out what it's all about.
Yeah, great.
You know,
I'd love to do that.
So you're up for that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Certainly.
Yes, we'll see how good you are at being a waitress this evening. I've managed to pull some strings to secure Karen a waitressing shift at a local Italian restaurant in nearby Liverpool. She loves being a punter. Let's see how she takes to the other side of the fence.
Right, come on, Karen.
Thank you.
Right, OK. We're going to be looking after this station tonight.
A mentor tonight is Executive Manager Gary Scott. He's got 15 years' experience in the restaurant game.
I'm not sure how somebody who's worked one night in a restaurant can open their own restaurant and it be particularly slick. You need to at least have worked in a restaurant for possibly a couple of years, know the ropes, know how to manage staff, manage people, customers.
But Karen has only one precious night to pick up and hone the hostessing skills she needs.
Share a starter?
Yeah, we're going to have...
No anchovies?
No anchovies, yeah.
Do you want any chips with your lasagna, or do you reckon it's good? Yeah, you never know.
Let's see what she makes of this tricky customer.
Hello.
Now, I'm not quite sure. What's the difference between crostini and bruschetta?
Crostini and bruschetta.
I don't know, I'm asking you. Well, I think as a starter, though, I'm going to go for this, where's it gone? The spaghetti with prawns, please. What wine would you recommend to go with that? Really good classic Italian wine.
The Chilean wine.
The what?
Chilean wine.
Oh, a classic Italian wine. I'm in an Italian restaurant.
Mine's gone blank, really, Cass.
OK, well, I'll have a glass of Chianti then. There you go. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, God.
That's it.
Not
That's that on
doing
there.
it, is it?
That's it. So
Oh, can't do it.
and that's it, and then pull up, and that should leave. That's it.
Okay.
You did it. Well done.
It's been really mad. It's been really hard work. God, the things that I've learned tonight will be so valuable. Things that I just wouldn't have even thought about in a million years. It is daunting because I don't think for a minute I realised the scale of what's involved. So I definitely didn't. Okay, thanks.
I think when Karen started this evening, she looked uncomfortable. She was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. But as the night went on, she gained in confidence. And by the end of the session, I think she looked like a proper team member. I'm convinced that Karen's got the potential to be a really personable and effective manager over in Widnes. She's done really well. Karen's evening at the Sharp End has also given her vital benchmarks, which will help with the next hurdle, recruiting Widnes' finest talent to put the restaurant on the map. For me, there are 4 key things about recruitment. Always do your research. To get the best staff, you must be clear about what skills and experience you're looking for. Use the local job centre. They can advertise and sift applicants for free. When hiring, I always check at least 3 references. And you must set high professional standards from the beginning. Dressing smartly and finding a suitable interview location immediately raises the profile of both you and the job.
Hi, come on in. Take a seat. I'm Marcus.
Hi.
This is Karen.
Hello.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing so far?
Basically waiting on taking orders, bits of like preparing food, doing tills, stuff like that, so got experience there.
They may never have hired anyone in their lives before, but Karen and Marcus are getting the hang of it. And by the end of the day, they found all their restaurant staff and the main linchpin in the shape of chef Ian Bedingfield.
Started off in hotels, worked in restaurants, Italian-based restaurants mainly.
His 14 years cooking experience and good references confirm he's the man for the job.
That's great.
Okay.
Thanks a lot,
Bye.
Nick. See you soon.
Ta-ra.
Okay.
They're relying on him to equip the kitchen, choose suppliers and plan menus down to the last ingredient. But just when it all seems to be going according to plan, Karen gets a call from her builder. There's a stumbling block.
What's actually happening is due to the fact that there's no chimney breast, engineers would be worried that the actual building could fold in on itself kind of thing because there's nothing there pillars-wise. The building is structurally unsound and they want to put extra steel work in. It could be a week before we get steel, and at this point...
Crucial, we need it now.
Yeah, definitely.
The renovation has uncovered serious structural problems with the shop. It means work must stop immediately until 2 massive steel pillars are fitted. It'll put the opening back by weeks and cost at least another 20 grand.
It's worrying me that all the extra stuff now, it's just not the price that we thought it was going to be. The danger is at this moment, when it comes to the end of it, we haven't got the money to pay it.
It's a major blow. Every penny of their £135,000 budget has been carefully allocated. They're desperately trying to find areas to make savings, but there's no room for manoeuvre.
We need to start earning some money. I mean, I need to earn a wage now. Rapid, because we are in a mess and we're just in a bigger, deeper hole as the days go by. And this is now just this is an added worry now.
I think you tend to worry about more things than I do, but you...
Yeah, because I'm lying awake wide open all night and you're snoring your bloody head off. So I know I'm worrying and you're not, because you can still sleep like the dead.
When I first started off, I found myself financially squeezed a few times. It goes with the territory though, really, because by definition you're taking a gamble. It's a matter of managing that risk. The secret is to stay cool and consider all your options. It might sound even riskier, but I reckon Karen and Marcus need to raise at least a further £50,000 to keep their plans on track. Any building project is always going to cost you more than you think. It's the way the world works. Has this had a lot of unpleasant surprises for you?
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. It's been an absolute can of worms from the minute we had the keys to actually set the builders in to start.
I mean, the premises have gone up in value. One, because you've owned them a while, and two, because you've improved them. So I think it's probably worth going to your bank and asking for a further advance on that.
Right.
I mean, the other thing I'd consider is talking to all the people who are supplying you with goods. So that could be your builders, the guys doing the aircon, everyone you're dealing with, and see if you can extend the terms of your credit, because standard credit terms are 30 days. But it's not unusual to go to 60 or 90, and having those extra couple of months on big chunks of money would make a really big difference to your cash flow. I think all this comes down to your ultimate confidence in how successful your business is going to be. If you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and the money will be coming in, then it's probably worth taking on a bit more responsibility now so that you can actually achieve the goal. The worst thing would be now, when you're so close to achieving your dream, to lose faith in it now.
Yeah, we've got no choice but to do it, and to actually sit down and say, well, for the sake of £20,000, I'm sorry, but you can't open your restaurant, that would just devastate me.
Karen and Marcus act immediately. Dave the builder agrees to extend their credit. It means they won't have to pay him any more money until the restaurant opens. This buys them precious time to sort out a vital £50,000 remortgage on their restaurant. Two stressful weeks later and the steel supports are fixed in place. Desperate to start trading in order to recoup some cash, Karen and Marcus instruct Dave to pull out all the stops to finish the job by the 12th of November, just 1 month away. So extra workers are drafted in to work weekends and around the clock.
It's all this money, weekend work, 7 days a week. My wage bill, and we're averaging 10 blokes a day now. Maybe 12 some days. I mean, my wage bill gets to £5,000 a week.
I think it's the right decision to get the restaurant finished as soon as possible. But I want Karen to press Dave to revise his estimate and find out how much all this work is going to cost. Everything now depends on the remortgage, but until they get it, finances are stretched to the absolute limit.
I've never been in such dire straits in my life, and it literally is ridiculous when you're just looking around for trying to find £3 to give to Rebecca for dinner. You know, and you're like, and I'm even saying to Rebecca, have you got any money in your room? Well, you know, can you use your money and I'll give it you back? And it's just disgraceful. Never, ever been in that situation, and to just dread that the kids actually need something because you just haven't got it.
It's the school half term, but Karen is too busy during the day to spend any time with her children. With the financial and emotional pressure mounting, Marcus digs deep to take Karen for a rare night out together.
I've never felt so bad in my life as yesterday. But I mean, I've got a 12-year-old. I haven't done anything with her in the holidays. All what we're doing is nothing compared to your family and your kids and priorities for that. But at the moment, everything's got to be on the back burner.
She knows what you're trying to do, which is going to be a benefit to everybody.
I know that, but it doesn't feel like it now. It doesn't feel like it now when you've got people that need you to do things and you're not doing it.
I know, but there's no point getting upset about it, is there? I mean, it's going to be tough, isn't it? We knew it was going to be tough. We knew it was going to be tough in the early days.
Get judged and people don't see.
Well, people don't, but it's not about them, is it? It's about what you and I want to do. We always knew.
Yeah, but is it selfish? Sacrificing a lot, and it's got to be worth it in the long run, because otherwise, what is the point?
Well, of course it will. Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? It's got to be worth it.
Marcus is a massive support system to me. Not only at the moment financially, but emotionally, he's a brick for me. He certainly is. He's my soulmate, he's my best friend, he's my lover. I would certainly not do any of this without Marcus.
To get her professional head back in gear, I suggest Karen calls her staff together for a training session in the local pub. It's also a great opportunity for team bonding, although Karen doesn't seem entirely convinced about her table-laying abilities.
Daniel, did you put the plates on the right side? No, should it be on the right?
With her confidence on the up, I think they should go to the restaurant show down at London's Olympia. Time to cut some deals to get Aroma Italia kitted out. It's a convenient one-stop shop to source all they need, from coffee machines to furniture, place settings and uniforms. And it's a great place to make contacts and compare suppliers.
That's nice. Yeah, lovely. That's the one then.
Until they get further funds, the plastic must take a battering. Today they've splashed out over 10 grand. Meanwhile, things are coming together at the restaurant. But with the builders working flat out for the last couple of weeks, costs are now out of control. They've paid Dave the original agreed figure of 51 grand, but Karen is still guessing at the final overspend rather than discussing it with Dave.
I seriously think we're about 35 to 40,000 over. Probably no more than 40, but I seriously think we're at least 35,000 over now.
It's now the 11th of November. Aroma Italia's grand opening is tomorrow. It looks like a long night ahead.
Neither Karen or I have been sleeping very well. We're always thinking of things. So Karen's been up during the night, probably 2 or 3 times each night, just thinking of other things that need doing.
Crack of dawn next morning, and everyone's still going hammer and tongs to finish the restaurant, while Karen takes time out to prepare for a grand opening night, to transform from butty seller to glamorous restaurateur.
Oh my God, what's in here? It says, "Dear Karen, I knew you would do it. Congratulations, all my love, Marcus."
I mean, the pressure to her must be enormous, and I think she feels the pressure more than I do. I think for what she's done so far, it's just unbelievable, considering she's had no experience of it before. To actually go through what she's done is just incredible.
Bloody hell. Wow, how good does that look?
10 weeks ago, this was a run-down old off-licence. Tonight, it's Aroma Italia, chic Italian restaurant. And what a transformation.
Welcome to Aroma Italia.
I can't believe this. I'm absolutely, really amazed. Because 1, I didn't think you'd get it ready in time. And 2, I didn't think it'd look as good as this. It looks stunning.
I think it's marvellous. There's not a word to describe how good it is, in my eyes.
There's so many people, they have the dream about doing this, but you've actually taken it from being a dream, something in your head, to something concrete, you know, with tables, chairs, chefs and all the rest of it. And that's a massive thing to have done. The restaurant can seat 52 on 2 levels. The atmosphere is comfortable, inviting and smart. I think it's spot on for the middle market they're aiming for. To launch their venture, Karen and Marcus raised a budget of 135 grand. The deposit for the restaurant cost them 26,000. They paid 30,000 for the kitchen. Equipment and supplies set them back a further £24,000. But they reckon the cost of the building work is at least £86,000, which brings their costs so far to £166,000, £31,000 over their original budget and takes their break-even from not 4, but to at least 5 grand a week. And the drive to claw this back is about to kick off.
Certainly got some kind of feeling that's going on, but I've had that for days, so I don't know whether it's anxiety, perhaps, rather than excitement.
Tonight, you've got to radiate confidence. When people come in here, they don't know that you're not experienced. As far as the customers are concerned, you're an expert at running an Italian restaurant. This could be your 10th restaurant for all they know. So you need to be totally serene and calm. And when there's a problem, you deal with it in a very confident, professional manner, as if you've dealt with that problem 50 times before.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I'll try. Yeah, okay, I will.
Ian and his team are slaving over the new stoves, prepping tonight's menu. Dishes ranging from $7.99 for pizza to the steak special at £12. It's moderately priced and aimed at customers wanting a meal out without breaking the bank.
Do you all know what the veg is tonight?
Carrots, monster and baby corn.
Marcus has been working as a solicitor all day, and as ever, he's on hand tonight to give Karen his full support. And of course, I'll be helping out with quality control. The great news is that word has spread. Tonight the restaurant is fully booked. It seems Karen and Marcus have really done their homework on what's missing in Widnes. Presentation spot on. All seems to be going well, but it's not long before things start to unravel. Why do you set the menus on the table? Make sure you get the menus off the table.
Make sure, straight onto your arm, each person, straight onto your arm.
Someone should go down there now, because it just looks scrappy.
Yeah, we will.
Despite the fact there's an army of waitresses tonight, I'm starting to notice problems with the service. In restaurant surveys, poor service accounts for around half of all complaints. For most people, it's more important than the food. But as the restaurant gets busier, the service gets slower. Karen, do you know where these are going to?
Who's Sally? Sally. Sal, that's not table 12, is it? Who's Tracy on that table 12?
Karen, try and get them working more as a team, because they're all doing a bit individually, but helping each other out.
Yeah. Okay.
Food is now coming back to the kitchen.
Table 13 upstairs complaining all the food is crap. I'll have to go and see them, just find out what the problem was.
Jess, have you just brought a pizza back?
They didn't eat most of it, did they? You know why? When something like that happens, you need to train the staff to ask, is there anything wrong with it? Find out what the problem is, because there's nothing worse than having a disgruntled customer and they don't say anything and they don't come back. Karen rushes upstairs to deal with the complaint and discovers that the food was cold.
I can only apologise a bit for it. Teething problems.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
I do apologise.
I'd rather be honest with you.
Yeah, of course, definitely. I'd rather not to give you back a service.
The operation is too slow. The waitresses are friendly and keen, but they haven't got their act together, and they don't seem to have a clue what they're serving. And the risotto, what's that?
The risotto is... I'll just need to ask the chef.
Karen clearly hasn't remembered the importance of briefing the staff about their menu. Proper training makes all the difference in a restaurant like this. The staff need to know the menu inside out. Unsurprisingly, the feedback from tonight's opening performance is mixed.
Maybe it's a bit rushed.
It was a bit rushed.
Probably just because it's the first night and they're very attentive.
Yeah. And how was it presented?
The presentation was wonderful. I thought it was really nice.
What did you go for?
Yeah, the seafood pasta. I don't know, it's quite bland.
I think the important thing is, are you going away with a negative or a positive experience?
Not at all, no.
It's a positive. Yeah. You'll tell your friends about it.
Absolutely.
And will you come back here?
Definitely.
Okay, well that's good. But overall, I was impressed by Karen's cool, collected demeanour, especially when things were going a bit pear-shaped. I think for a first night, you've done amazingly well. The staff have got a great attitude, but they don't know enough about either how to do their jobs or the products.
Yeah.
So they need to be better trained and they need to know more about the food and the wine.
We recognise we're making mistakes as well, but hopefully the majority of people seem really pleased, and the mistakes we have made are small enough that we can rectify.
Tonight, you just need to dwell on the fact that you've got the restaurant open when you said you were going to have it open. And I didn't think you'd do that. So tonight, just enjoy the experience, enjoy the triumph so far, and leave all the difficult work for tomorrow, because that's in the future.
Tomorrow's another day. Today was today, wasn't it? Tonight was the best night, I think.
So let's have a toast to Aroma. Well done.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you very much.
The following day, I want to have a chat with Karen about staff management. This is the time where you have really got to show leadership. You've got to show this sort of inner confidence, this ability to sort of make everyone do what you want them to do. I mean, it's almost like you're the conductor and they're your orchestra.
Yeah.
You know, and the customers and the kitchen and the staff, they're all different parts of the orchestra, and you've got to get them all sort of working together and all doing their bits at the right time, and you know, the whole thing's got to sound like a real sort of concerto or something like that.
Yeah.
What I would do at the start of every single shift is have a 5-minute briefing, just saying, you know, like what the specials are, you know, what herbs are in things, what's on, what's off, anything they need to know, you know, answering any questions that the customers might have.
Yeah.
Determined to get it right, Karen gets stuck in straight away.
You need to make sure that you know what's on the specials board. I mean, last night, for instance, we did loads of the fillet steaks and we did loads of the chef's pastas, and it was actually the way that it was explained to the customers. Daniel explained it really well and Sally did.
I've also advised Karen to cut down on staff numbers to make the Aroma machine leaner and reduce the wage bill.
Hello, Aroma, Italia.
But since the restaurant is open 7 days a week, Karen's still working flat out. As well as waiting tables, she must also deal with suppliers, organise staff rotas and take bookings. The only chance daughter Rebecca gets to see her is at the restaurant.
Another soup? You're both having soup, yeah?
She works really hard. She comes home and she just wants to sit and lie on the couch and doesn't want to do anything else.
It's long days, long nights, because we're open 7 days a week. Doesn't seem to be any time to do anything else. To me, it feels like a lot of things have been sacrificed, and that's like precious time that you'll never ever get back again. But it's a case of weighing stuff up. Well, you know, do you do that, or do you just go along like everybody else and never have anything, never achieve anything? And thank God I've got understanding kids that know the reason why I want to do things. They know what the good things are going to be in the future and they're prepared to stand by me.
Well, for the moment, it all seems to be paying off. The first week, they take £4,819. The second, £4,936. And the third, £5,234. That means on average, they're already just about reaching their original break-even of £5 a week. But because of the building overspend, I still can't calculate their new break-even figure. Then at the end of the week, Builder Dave finishes his calculations and faxes over his bill. Their original budget for the building work was £51,000, but they've overspent by a massive £53,000. In total, the renovation alone now stands at £104,000. This has pushed their original setup costs to £188,000. Karen is not happy.
Final invoice is just a shock, because the stuff that's on there for some of the jobs and the labour costs incurred in that are just purely ridiculous. A lot of the subcontractors have all put massive bills in.
Despite her specific complaints, she decides not to contact Dave to talk things through. The guys did do the right thing by cracking the whip. They needed to have the restaurant looking as good as they could, as quickly as they could. But the thing about being your own boss, it doesn't matter how exhausted you are, you've just got to stay on top of everything. When the pressure's on, it's tempting to bury your head in the sand. In my book, honest communication is the lifeblood of any business.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about Dave the Builder. How's it all going with him?
Not really seen much of him, but we've not paid him yet. Not paid him his final invoice yet. There's obviously a couple of things on there which we think are a bit overpriced. There's a couple of things on there which we believe are in the original quote.
Have you actually told him that, though? Have you actually said, we think those things are overpriced?
No, we haven't actually said that. We just said we're quite surprised at some of the things.
Now, in my experience, this happens every single time you do a building project, because loads of things crop up that you need doing, extras. You make people work around the clock because you need to have it ready, you need to have it open, and the job always costs more than you think it's going to do. But the secret is to sit down with the builder soon and sort it out. While Karen and I grapple with the situation at the restaurant, Marcus is hard at work in his day job as a solicitor to feed the kids and pay the bills. A few days later, Karen and Marcus finally take my advice.
31,500, that's it.
It makes a big difference all round. Dave has the chance to explain the reasons for each of his costs, which Karen and Marcus accept. And with everything squared away, they agree a schedule of repayments. The The problem now is that their new break-even figure is £5,500 a week, and they're just not reaching it. While business in the evenings is building up nicely, lunchtimes at Aroma are dead. I've done some sums to show Karen how the future looks if they don't sort out their daytime trade. I've worked out all your costs. You've got a lot of borrowing. You've got staff costs, rates, marketing, maintaining the restaurant, all those sort of things. And ballpark figure, you're losing £1,400 every month. You're losing almost £17,000 a year. Now, I think you need to do something about that. You need to address it. You're only 2 months in, so it's not as though you've actually done that full year and lost the money.
Yeah.
There's no point you putting all this effort and working and stressing and, you know, living the life if you're actually losing money.
Yeah. It doesn't really worry me too much at the moment because I've always been led to believe that businesses don't take any money in the first year anyway.
I don't go along with this myth. That's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think that, then you won't make any money.
Yeah.
I'd forget that straight away. I think with a business as dynamic as this and a business which has got established so quickly as this, that you should think about making profit straight away. OK, you're not going to pay off the setup costs.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual week-to-week profitability, you should be able to make a profit almost straight away. What we must do now is come up with an action plan. Successful entrepreneurs are always looking for new ideas to make every part of their business work better. It's a matter of looking at your target market and devising a strategy to grab it. Karen and Marcus need to start paying back their loans, which now stand at £163,000. To do this, they must exceed their break-even figure of £5,500 to make a profit. Since Aroma's right on top of a busy high street and surrounded by offices during the day, they should be able to clean up. The first step to kickstart lunchtimes is to develop a tempting new lunch menu. 2 courses for £5.95 with a separate takeaway option. Let's go and wow the people of Widnes with your delicious food. And the best way to tell punters what you're up to is to get right out there and let them try it for themselves. Who could resist freshly made hot toasted paninis and gourmet pizzas? Could I interest you in a slice of pizza?
Actually made on the premises.
Would you like to try some pizza?
I'd love to. Aroma, Italia. Don't know if you've heard of us.
Just round the corner on Widnes Road.
Tell your friends, bring your friends.
As I've come to expect, Karen is a tenacious saleswoman.
I'll try that panini. You won't eat anything ever again.
Local office workers are a premium captive audience. They're exactly the sort of customers who could be spending their hard-earned cash at Aroma Italia. Specially baked about half an hour ago.
Very nice. It's excellent pizza, really nice, really fresh tasting.
There's not that many places actually in the local vicinity to go, so it'd be nice to have somewhere like that to go and visit.
After hitting the streets of Widnes with paninis and pizzas to drum up business, it's time to suggest phase 2 of my marketing plan. I've come up with this idea. There you go, have a look at that. It's called the Aroma Italia Lunch Club. It's quite a simple idea. People come and eat here 5 times, then they get the 6th one free. Right. Now, the idea of this is that this builds loyalty. Once they've been here a couple of times and they've had their card stamped, they're going to come back for the 3rd, 4th and 5th visit.
Yeah.
It encourages people to keep coming back here on a regular basis. And I think for you, because you're a new business, you need that word of mouth, you need that loyalty to build up. Worth a go?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything's worth a go, isn't it? Of course it is.
Karen takes my idea and runs with it. She prints up 1,000 menu leaflets and loyalty cards at a cost of £120. And she's caught the direct marketing bug. Her aim is to track down and persuade any available lunchtime customers to give Aroma Italia a go.
Can I leave some of these on your desk? Yeah. From Aroma Italia, the restaurant just up the road. Hiya, you all right? We've started doing a new lunch club. If you eat your lunch 5 times, you actually get your 6th lunch for free.
Going for my lunch then? I'll just phone you up and order, is that okay?
Just phone, yeah. Can I give you one of our leaflets showing you the kind of stuff we're doing next door? We're doing takeaway paninis.
No one's safe from Karen when she's on a mission.
Excuse me, can I give you one of these each? If ever you get a day off, do a lunch club.
Karen's great at this. People are lapping up her sales pitch.
Put them on the counter.
Oh, that'd be great.
To complete the offensive, I think Karen should also think about giving Aroma a more dressed-down feel for lunchtimes. At the moment, I think the restaurant looks too formal. It looks like the sort of place where you've got to go in and have at least 2 courses and a bottle of wine and a coffee and a dessert. And I think for people at lunchtimes, that's going to put them off.
Yeah.
I think you need to send out a different visual signal when they look through the window. So what I think you need to do is declutter, deformalise and make the tables more attractive for a lunchtime consumer. And we do that by going like this. Wine glasses off the table, do the same on the other side, and you're ready.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It just needs to be as if it's more, I think, of a cafe bar style in the day rather than a restaurant.
People in the evening are going to spend a minimum of, what, £8 or £9 each? Even if they had a pizza and a drink, it's going to be £8 or £9. Yeah. Whereas people in the daytime want to know they could get away with spending... How much is a cup of tea?
£1.40.
£1.40.
Yeah.
So £1.40 is the minimum spend in the daytime. But having all this stuff on the table says to them when they look through, I can't spend £1.40. It makes you look too expensive. And I think the key to lunchtimes is relax it and taking the £1.40, taking the money for the paninis, as well as people wanting a proper meal and two courses.
Yeah, I think you're right, Stu. Yeah.
Can I have the bacon and brie panini with chips, please?
And Karen's seizing the chance to ask people for something which is often overlooked in business: feedback. Customers can help her to constantly review, expand and refine the menus. With a new daytime image in place, Aroma's lunchtime fortunes gradually start to change, aided and abetted by the loyalty cards.
If you visit us like 5 times, have your lunch here 5 times, you actually get your 6th one free. And it's up to a value of like £5.95.
And within a few days, Aroma Italia has the breakthrough I was hoping for.
Really good. First time that's happened at lunchtime, it's been that busy, we've had to put people upstairs. Great.
With lunchtime trade on an upward spiral, over the next month, the restaurant's weekly turnover jumps from an average of £5,000 to £6,500. It's great news for Karen and Marcus. For the first time, Aroma Italia is now actually making a profit of £1,000 a week. It's a massive turnaround. They've done it. At last, Karen feels confident enough with the business to pay herself a monthly wage of £1,300 and concentrates on her work-life balance.
Spend time with Chris and Rebecca, go out, have a meal, even if you just want to get a takeaway and sit in. Just to not have to come in this place on a Monday gives me a massive like boost.
They seem to be well on the way to paying off that huge financial risk. But are we truly over the hard times? Time to call on super accountant and top valuation expert Julia Chanteray. Now Aroma has a full 3 months trading under its belt. I want her to carry out a 360-degree assessment of the business. She'll focus on everything from the assets through to the value of the restaurant's brand. Based on that, we can project its potential over the next 5 years. This has been an intense professional and personal journey for Karen and Marcus. They've struggled with building problems, managerial issues, near bankruptcy and exhaustion. But Karen's transformed herself from butty seller to successful entrepreneur.
Oh God, I've changed massively. I feel like I'm a different person now to what I was 8 months ago. I definitely see a whole different future for me now. My confidence has grown. I feel as though I've just come into my own. I feel like this is somewhere I should have been 20 years ago. And I know where I want to be in 5, 10 years' time, and I don't think for a minute there's going to be anything that stops me getting there.
And in the kitchen, Chef Ian's been inspired to come up with an increasingly inventive and tasty menu. It's the moment of truth. What does the future hold for Aroma Italia? Julia reckons, and I agree with her, if you were to carry on this chain, because I know you want to get some more places, if you were to get another one, and another one, and another one, say you had 4, after maybe 4 years, something like that, she reckons the business then would be worth in excess of £800,000.
God.
Gosh.
It's good, isn't it?
It's amazing.
That's not far off £1 million, which would be incredible.
Like it.
Wow.
That's great.
Oh my God. Told you this time next year you'd be a millionaire.
It's difficult to take in. You go from a few weeks back of having, well, still in the situation of having thousands and thousands of pounds worth of debts, thousands of pounds of credit card debts, and the next minute you're talking about potentially having £1 million in a few years' time. It goes from one extreme to another. It's a bit bewildering, really.
Congratulations.
Cheers. Here's to Aroma Italia. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased for Marcus and Karen. I'm really proud of what they've achieved at Aroma Italia. They've only been open a really short period of time, but already they've managed to go into profit. Now, in my experience, that's virtually unheard of. That's amazing. And they've managed to do that in the face of all sorts of adversity. Virtually everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And yet they overcame all those problems with a very positive attitude. I think if they continue as they are doing, within a short period of time, they're going to have a business which is worth a lot of money and a great brand under their belt as well.
Good evening. Here are some of the stories making news tonight. Six-nation talks to try to persuade North Korea to give up its nuclear program have resumed in Beijing after a 13-month break. But chances of any progress being made seems bleak. North Korea declared the country a nuclear power and made a list of